Hi, I'm Ambry and this is Ambry's Corner and welcome back to my channel. If you're new viewer, watcher, subscriber, welcome. If you're returning viewer, watcher, subscriber. Hi guys, so I am back today with part 2 of my chit chat story time. At first this was just going to be like a little chit chat, and then somehow it turned to a full-blown story time, so I guess I should just continue and I'll update you guys on me at the end. Alright, so let's get back into it. So I left off where you know, I had just came out the office from talking to my boss, and you know, I sat down at my little workstation for like 5 minutes, and I looked up, and on the on like the little project tree that we had, there was a project there, and whenever whenever a project that was wrong or done wrong, they find it, they'll send it back to us and they'll put it up so we could redo it. We have to redo it. And so I looked up, and that's like that wouldn't have been the first time that, you know, mine was ever on the redo pile, but you know, it just seemed like that day in particular, you know, it was just a lot. You know, I had went to my boss's office, and there was like 2 projects in there that I had worked on the weeks prior. They was back. Then he took me to another office where there was more, like 3 more laying out that I had done weeks before that. They was back, and so then I come back out on the floor, and then like there's one up there on like the little project tree in the redo pile that was mine, and it just like it was a lot coming back on me, a lot of things I had messed up on, and I was just like, I was overwhelmed, not even overwhelmed, but I was frustrated. I was feeling like very singled out, you know what I mean? Just like I'm always the one that's, you know, getting pulled into the office. I'm not even doing anything, you know. I come here, I do my job. I can never please people. It's just like anytime I felt like I was taking like maybe 2 steps forward, I took like 10 steps back. And so I was just at my breaking point. I mean, this is stuff that had been going on like the entire time I was there. So an entire year I was dealing with things like this, on and off, and I was just, it was like a bad relationship basically. And so I really tried to stick it out. You know, I stuck it out for a year, and I really tried to stick it out longer than that in hopes maybe I could get hired on and maybe get moved to a different area of that company, because there was more than one area. It didn't work out. So that day after I seen it, I asked God if there was a sign. He gave me one. I seen it on the tree. I got up. I went to the back. I grabbed my phone, I went to the back, and I just called Mom. I said, Mom, I want to quit. We talked on the phone for a few minutes, and I came to the conclusion that yes, I wanted to quit, and so I did. And so after I got off the phone with her, I went up there, I took off my badge, and I gave it back to my boss, and I said, I'm sorry, this ain't working out for me no more. I'm gonna leave, like that. And he said, okay. Now I had almost done that one time before, and he stopped me. He said, no, don't leave. Don't let everybody get to you. Some people in here messy, you know, it comes with the job. Don't leave yet. Give it some time. You know what I mean? You ain't nobody perfect. Everybody mess up. This time, I guess he was like, you know, you pretty much done gave up, so maybe I should let you go. Or maybe he just didn't want to meet. He just felt like, you know, maybe it's time for her to go. Maybe she's not meant to be here. And so I went to the back, and I waited for my mom. I told my mom had already known to come get me, because I told her I was quitting. And so she was on her way. And so I go out the back door after giving him my badge, after collecting my things, and I leave. My mom comes and get me, and that whole day I felt, you know, like a little defeated, like basically like heartbroken, because I had put in like time, you know, wasted time there to just end up with nothing, you know, nothing to show for. I had worked hard, I had a goal, I had a plan, and it just seemed like everything I had been working for a whole year just went down the drain. I think I was out of work for maybe a couple weeks, and then I was out one day doing like a little shopping. You know, I had like a little good time while I was out of work, you know what I mean? I was going out with friends and stuff like that. Like, I wasn't just at home moping around. But when I was at home moping around, and I tried to stay busy, you know, of course. But when I was at home moping around, you know, I was in constant thought about, you know, did I make a mistake? Was this the right thing to do? You know, I knew that it was the right thing to do, because things that happened afterwards just kept confirming it to me. But yeah, so that was like a blessing in disguise. Obviously, I was still, you know, nursing my broken heart or whatever with that last job, because like I said, I had put so much time into it, and I was trying, and I was really doing the best I could, and you know, my efforts just wasn't getting seen, or it just wasn't enough, because you know, it was so easy for them to let me leave. And you know, I really thought that's where I was going to be at, you know, and that's where it was going to be for me, you know, for at least a little while anyway, and I could get some things done and stuff like that. But that's just not how things worked out. And I was praying all through that time, you know, talking to God, trying to get an understanding, you know, about what my purpose was, what He was calling me to do, and what was the plan from here. I was like nurturing it, and I was at my job, and so I had come up with like a game plan when I left. So I started getting things in order, like right after I quit. So I had been talking to my cousin's wife, and I was like, I had been thinking about, you know, because I have a resume, and I wanted to get it updated and, you know, get some things refreshed on there, because it had been a while since the last time I had even, you know, really like looked at my resume. And so I was like, well, I need to get my resume done, so let me go ahead and get that before I even start looking for another job. So I got my resume in order, and you know, I started putting out feelers and stuff like that. I have like a lot of plans for myself, you know, as far as that job goes, especially like with, you know, helping out with, you know, investing in my YouTube and stuff like that, and just investing in myself. Obviously, there's things I need, things I want, and I know that job will help me accomplish it a lot. So let me get into about what happened afterwards that kind of like solidified my leaving. So after the day I left, you know, I was still in contact with like I'm still in contact like with some of my coworkers from there. 3 to be exact, the rest of them know. And the 3 that I'm in contact with, you know, I was talking to the one, and this is the main one I talked to, but she was telling me that the day I left, they had came out and said they were hiring. Now I had heard previously that, you know, he was getting ready to hire on the temps, but he had to do a few things, like something about it wasn't in the budget for them to hire us yet, and they had to make sure that it was in the budget for next year so that we could get hired on. And so they had a meeting, and I guess it got approved. Well, right after I left, he came back to say that. And so my mama speculated that maybe that, you know, when that happened, like when I quit, they were so upset. They told the temps that, you know, that they was gonna hire them on in hopes that maybe one of them would come back and tell me to get under my skin because they was mad. I don't believe that company is that petty, but if they are, that's really petty, and that's really mean, like really mean. And so somebody did come back and tell me what had happened, and I'll admit that I was about ready. I was mad. I was about ready to go down there and tell them something about themselves, because that was just really messed up, and how they did me was really messed up also. And so it just seemed like every day after like mess was going down, my friend said that, you know, she got moved to a different shift later, and she was saying like it wasn't the same. The energy was off down there now, and it just didn't feel like it did when I was there. And she literally told me like the only reason I stayed on that shift was because of you, and now that you gone, I really don't see no point in me staying. So I'm just, you know, and then like recently she was telling me, she's like, they so at the end of September they told them that by the end of October they would be hired on. Y'all, we in November and they still haven't said anything yet. Nothing. He done basically said, well, we'll talk about it in November. So I don't know what's going on with that. My mama believes that job was never meant to be a hire on, a permanent position anyway. They was never going to hire anybody on. I don't know. They hired on their girls. So, I mean, they could. I don't know. It just everything that happened afterward was just like more of like a confirmation that I wasn't supposed to be there. That wasn't the place for me, and that it was literally time for me to move on. And I'm glad I did. But yeah, that's how my life is at the moment. Everything kind of worked out the way it was supposed to. I feel like nothing happens by accident. Everything happens how it's supposed to, and no, that's just that. So yeah, that was it. So I might do like another channel update for y'all later. You know, I didn't get to do too much in this one because that story took a lot of it up. So yeah, so I will see y'all in the next one, and bye.